A big cheer, please, for Mark Kermode and Simon Mayo.
Hello, good afternoon, how are you? Or, as we say around these parts and at these times, wassail, wassail, wassail. What is actually ale? So, now, Mark, do you know what the traditional reply is if someone says wassail?
Yes, is it ale well or well ale?
No, it's... no. Does anyone know what if someone says wassail, what do you say back? No one knows. You say drink ale.
Drink ale. There we go. Ale well. I was close.
No, you weren't. Okay. So if I say wassail, you say. I say wassail, you say.
Drink well.
And when do you wassail, Mark?
Now.
No, it's supposed to be for Twelfth Night.
For Twelfth Night. Then
yeah.
Why are you doing it now?
And when is Twelfth Night?
12 nights after Christmas.
When would that be?
January the 4th? 5th?
No, it's January the 5th in the evening is wassail evening. That's when you go wassailing.
Okay.
Okay. Unless,
this has become terribly confrontational very early on.
Unless, of course, you are a traditionalist, in which case you only wassail on what is known as Old Twelvey. And when would that be? Old Twelvey.
12th night?
No, it's the 17th of January.
Okay.
Because it's the Gregorian calendar which messed it up in 1752.
None of this is in the script.
No. That's true. But anyway, wassail. This is a great tradition which we've brought back because it's Christmas and all that. Anyway, you're very welcome to the show. Later on, Mark is going to be reviewing some films, for example.
Oh, thank heavens. We're back to the stuff I know about. Yes, hello, everybody. Welcome to this film review show.
So old-fashioned and traditionalist.
We have reviews of a wide range of movies, Simon Mayo, including Lurker, which is a psychological thriller, Goodbye June, which is the feature directorial debut by Kate Winslet, who is also going to be our special guest on the 23rd of December for an hour-long special.
How about that?
And Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man, which some of you may have seen in cinemas, but it's coming to Netflix on the 12th.
Also, much to everyone's delight, the Christmas Cracker Laughter Lift edition, in which you can... Did you detect mockery?
I think detect is an understatement.
In which you can win a goodie bag and this Christmas-themed sprout, okay? There is a lot of money that's gone into this podcast, don't you think? This is available.
Incidentally, Simon,
yes.
What's that?
This?
Oh, yes.
This is the Wittertainment Peace Prize.
Yes.
As you can see, it's a piece of old tat, which we'll give to any randomer, basically, who looks as though they might not really deserve it very much.
Exactly. Has anyone created any peace recently? Well done. Well, there we are. There's the winner. Marvellous.
Who was that who shouted, yeah? Come down. Right, you've won it. That's it. Let's do it. Come down. There are consequences for calling things out in live shows.
And so here we are at the inaugural presentation of the Wittertainment Peace Prize, chosen by a panel of no one at all, and given to some complete randomer from the
What's
audience.
Your name? Kerry. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
It's Kerry. She's won the inaugural Wittertainment Peace Prize for doing
more for peace than some other people who have recently won peace prizes.
Also, greatest Christmas movie scene of all time, as voted for by you, Jason Isaacs, live on a Zoom from New Orleans. Is that actually going to happen? I mean, because it is a genuinely live thing. What are the chances of a signal coming out of a conference centre?
Is it a Star Trek conference?
Was that the Peace Prize winner causing trouble already? Starting conflict? I've got no idea what they're saying. Anyway, so that's all happening. And when Jason turns up, we just have to say, hello, Jeremy Irons. And,
yeah, that'll be fine.
And he'll be fine. Also, we're thrilled to have Nia DaCosta talking about Bone Temple, the new 28 years later. She's going to be on this stage right here. So also, all right, a little bit of housekeeping. I know the redactor did some at the beginning, but it's a traditional thing at this show to say hello to Ed Freshwater. And so we join him with a smelly pants wee, okay? After 3, smelly pants wee.
I love the fact that you went after 3 and then didn't count to 3.
Okay. We'll try again, shall we? You're the musician, count us in.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Smelly pants wee. Melon farmers. Is that how it goes? I think that's right.
That's the Bruce Willis version.
Okay, and we got an email from James in sometimes sunny southeast London. With the nights drawing in, here's a small gift from the good lady Yiddish shouter indoors to mark the festive season. So here we go, this is what we get.
Christmas.
Now, that wasn't very different to what we normally have. What did she say?
Can we play it again?
Okay. Christmas. That doesn't really work, does it?
what you're applying that questions did.
Okay, that's a very good point. James, thank you very much indeed, and our best to the good lady Yiddish shouter indoors. We got an email a couple of weeks ago from Gudjon Helgason, who was traveling here from Iceland just for the show. Gudjon, did you make it? Okay. I'm not sure if everyone heard that. I think they probably did. We had a little sad voice saying, yes, I did. When did you arrive, Gudjon? Thursday, I think he said. And are you planning to raid the off license while you're here? It's funny if you're close to him. An email here from Mark, BA NPQH, winner of the Farley Butlin's Young Artist Competition 1981. Dear John and Hans, and of course the eye-bleedingly astonishing production team, which I think they've just added in. Mark often mentions that great films give back to you whatever it is you bring to them.
Yes.
And when I sit in the dress circle of the Prince Edward Theatre on Sunday the 7th, I will be testing that same theory out for a live Christmas podcast. Are you here, Mark? Okay. As a very long-term listener, the whittering between the two of you has accompanied dog walks, rides, journeys, holidays, good times and bad, and your warm, mellifluous tones have become as much part of the good lady, Effie, college manager, her indoors, and I's life together that neither of us can imagine a day when the show will end. I've cried at 2 films in my life, E.T. when he wakes up, and as a 7-year-old, Charlotte's Web when the inevitable happens. But the warmth, sincerity, and shared life experiences of the Wittertainment family has had me crying more times than I care to remember. And that's from Mark. Thank you, Mark, and thank you for coming down today. Claire Tedstone writes, my name is Claire, and I will be coming to your live Christmas movie spectacular on the 7th of December, and I hope you don't mind me asking, but I have a request. Are you here, Claire? Yeah. Okay. Do you want me to read this out? Okay.
Well done for checking that beforehand.
I will be attending the show with my husband, Dan Pearson, to celebrate his 40th birthday. Dan has been amazing throughout a tricky few years. He stepped up to take care of our son, who is now nearly 8 and is the most wonderful dad. Dan and I are heading to New York the day after this show as part of his birthday celebrations.
Wow.
We're excited to visit some of the filming locations that we've become so familiar with through film and TV. I would not have been able to even contemplate being well enough to travel to New York if it hadn't been for Dan's support and care. He is a very special person, and I would love to do something nice for him as a thank you for everything he does. Might you be able to give him a shout-out during the show? So I think we should definitely do this. Dan, are you here?
Was that a yes?
Okay.
Okay.
So Claire, stand up. There you go. Okay, Dan, stand up. All right, okay. Yeah. Mark will now lead us in a rendition of a well-known song.
Dan, you stay standing up. Happy birthday in C. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dan. 40 is so young. Happy birthday to you.
Beautiful. Have a lovely time in New York. There's so many people here now thinking, I hope no one wrote in about me. Did you write in about me? Did you write in about me? Okay, movie review time. How about doing one of those? Because you do those quite well, I think.
Yeah, but then I have to just do the shift of moving the thing onto my lap, and I thought you were going to waffle for a little bit more.
No, I've done the waffling.
But no, I know. Like, I heard most of it. It was all very good.
Wake up, dead man.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting there. Seriously, is that the first one?
Yep.
Because my script didn't have that as the first one, but that's all right. Okay, fine. So, how many of you have seen... Well, also, you
it's the first one. Okay, just showing everyone the script.
So, in the script, this was Knives Out, Wake Up, Dead Man. It's not. It's Wake Up, Dead Man, dash, a Knives Out mystery, which is a crucial difference. Now, this has been in cinemas for a week or so, but it's coming to Netflix on the 12th. How many of you have seen this? And how many of you thought it was fab? Actually, that's pretty much the same amount as said that they've seen it. So this is the third in the Rian Johnson series, which I think you and I both enjoyed the first two very much.
So,
this
yes.
follows on from Glass Onion, which kind of, expanded the palette a little bit more. But essentially, it's the same setup as before in that it's Rian Johnson doing a modern whodunit, which throws back to kind of Agatha Christie on the one hand, but also has a kind of very modern setting. Particularly star-studded cast: Josh O'Connor, Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, Mila Kunis, Jeremy Renner, Kerry Washington, Andrew Scott, Kaylee Sponey, Daryl McCormack, Thomas Hayden Church, Uncle Tom Cobley and all. An absolutely extraordinary cast. So the story is Josh O'Connor is this priest who has been sent to a new church in upstate New York. He used to be a boxer, and he's been sent there because he punched out a deacon. So he's been sent to this kind of backwater. When he gets there, he immediately locks horns with the resident preacher, who has got this kind of really outspoken manner to him, says outrageous things, has alienated loads of people, but has around him a hardcore of people who are fiercely devoted to him. Then at a key moment in the narrative, he's doing a sermon, and he walks, the whole congregation see him walk into an enclosed room, and the next thing is he's dead in the enclosed room with a demon's head knife stabbed into his back. So it's the perfect mystery. How did this happen? Everybody saw him go in alone, and now he's dead. Here's a bit of the trailer.
You're the only one at that church who hated his guts.
The spirit really moved him today, huh?
So tell me, what the hell happened?
Everyone thinks I did it. I didn't do it.
This goes way beyond normal police work. This is something you and I have not experienced. A perfectly impossible crime.
This case is solvable, right?
I'm incapable of not solving a crime.
The fantastic Daniel Craig doing Benoit Blanc. I think his accent is getting more outlandish I think he's really kind of relaxing into, because when he did the very first film, he said that he was experimenting with that accent, and there was a kind of, okay, this is what you're going to do all the way through the film, and he's lent into it more and more. So the whole setup is, there appears to be one prime suspect who at the beginning says, you think I did it, I absolutely didn't, but then everybody else has some kind of motivation. Now, I don't know about you, but I love the Knives Out movies. I love the fact that it's a kind of old-fashioned whodunit, but I also love the fact that they've got very modern themes. In the case of Glass Onion, there was a lot of stuff about tech bros and millionaires and Elon Musk and all that sort of thing. In the case of this, there's an awful lot about corrupt religion and lunatic devotion to people who are completely incapable of rational thought. But all that stuff that's kind of, because, you know, Rian Johnson is quite sort of politically satirical, but it's all also really good fun. This leans less into broad comedy than some of the others have, because some of the others have had kind of, you know, really many laugh out loud moments. I mean, this builds up to the kind of weirdest reincarnation of the resurrection you can possibly imagine. It's kind of dark, it's kind of gothic, but it's done with such relish. And honestly, I could happily have Rian Johnson make one of these every year for the next 5 years, because there is something about the fact that they play particularly well at Christmas. Obviously, this is a big thing for Netflix as a Christmas release, because it's got everything. There's nothing in there that no one's going to come away from it feeling shortchanged. Actually, the plot becomes more and more convoluted and complex and tied up, but at the same time, it's just really, really good fun. And I think they're great. I mean, I know a couple of people have been a bit sniffy about, well, it's just the third in that series. But the thing is, the reason that series exists is because nobody else is making these kind of movies. Nobody else is making those kind of old-fashioned whodunits. And because Rian Johnson is such a good writer, when you get to the reveal, it's not like, there's that thing in whodunits when there's a group of people, there's like 7 people in a room and you're trying to figure out which one did it. And then at the very last moment, somebody says, oh, the postman turned up and you've never been mentioned before and it was him. In the case of this, when the reveals happen, they're always kind of very complicated, but they're always very satisfying.
Who did it?
The postman.
Oh, okay.
He just turns up at the end. Did I ever tell you, for one of my children's birthdays, Child 1 wanted to go to see The Mousetrap, which is the longest running play like in forever. And so we went, and Child 2, who's younger than Child 1, wasn't particularly interested in going to see The Mousetrap because it sounded like, oh, what do I want to see The Mousetrap for? And so anyway, so we sat there and The Mousetrap started, and The Mousetrap got like one of the most famous twists in the history of modern theatre. Anyway, Child 2 is sitting there watching the thing, and they get to the moment in The Mousetrap when the guy says, and I put it to you that the murderer was Dingy Bong, and there was silence, and you heard Child 2 went, no!
They would love that reaction, though. So in The Mousetrap, the murderer is Dingy Bong.
Dingy Bong, yeah. Who killed the postman, yeah.
That's an incredible twist, which you have now spoiled.
Yeah. Anyway, Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man is really terrific. Actually, the whole resurrection thing is in the Wake Up Dead Man and blah, 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 blah. But so I suppose technically it's more of an Easter movie, but it's a Christmas staple.
Yeah, I was kind of, the resurrection and the...
Yes.
Is in the film?
Yeah, well, it's the Good Friday sermon, and he's killed. And then obviously in terms of the theology, that's leading up to a resurrection.
Okay.
But I'm not going to spoil the plot any more than that.
All right. Thank you very much.
So you're welcome.
And everyone who said they'd seen it, did Mark get that right? Yes, he did, yes.
It's almost as if I've been doing this professionally for 35 years.
We get to our first guest time. And our first guest is a filmmaker who, at the age of 34, became the youngest director. That's a very unfortunate time. It kind of gives the game away. And the first African-American woman to helm a Marvel Cinematic Universe film with the Marvels. Her critically acclaimed feature film debut, Little Woods, won the Nora Ephron Award at the Tribeca Film Festival. In 2021, she collaborated with filmmaker Jordan Peele for a commercially and critically successful reboot of Candyman. She has now directed, as you can see on the screen, 28 years later, The Bone Temple, about which we have many questions. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nia DaCosta.
Wait, oh man.
What do you think?
I wish I had my phone so I can, or you can just send me the picture and I can send it to Rafe maybe. Yeah.
Is there a Christmas special of the 28 Years Later franchise, do you think?
Honestly, now I wish I made a Christmas movie. Like Christmas, Infected, Rafe.
What's not to like?
Exactly.
Thank you so much for coming and being a part of our show.
Thanks for having me.
This
is
afternoon.
actually like so crazy also.
We talked about 28 years, we've talked about the franchise a lot, and the last film, which was only like a few months ago, is still very fresh in a lot of people's minds. And we knew then, because Danny came onto the show with Jodie Comer and explained how these films were done back to back. And they weren't sure about the third, but they knew about the two because you filmed them together. Just explain how that worked and how you came on board and what it was like inheriting and then also putting your own mark onto the film franchise.
Yeah, basically how did I come onto it? My agent called me and was like, I know you're busy, but they're making 28 Years Later trilogy and it's happening and they're looking for a director for the second film. And I was like, that's bizarre. Why doesn't Danny just do all of them? And he was like, I don't know, he doesn't want to. And I was like, okay. And then the next day, Alex Garland called me and was like, so we're making the movies. They're happening. We're looking for a director for the third. So the same information, just in the Alex Garland sort of, intense way of delivering it. And long story short, I just went in and talked to them and said, I love this script and I love this franchise and I love you guys. And I'm really excited at the idea of doing it if I can do it my own way. And if the expectation is not that I make like a Danny Boyle movie, because that would be boring for everyone involved. And they really were into that. They really, I think, thought that actually is the best way to make the second film before Danny comes back to the third. So yeah, and they were already going. So they were like prepping Danny's already, and then it was 3 weeks between his shoot wrapping and my shoot starting.
So does that mean you're on set watching the first?
No, so when I heard about this film, I was in my director's cut for my film that just came out like last month.
Hedda,
yeah.
Which is a fantastic adaptation of Hedda Gabler and is a really, really smart, sharp, funny film and very dark and very fab.
Thank you so much. It was like a return. That was like a return to my dark, freaky self, and then this was just a continuation of my dark, freaky brain and a world. So that was really fun. But yeah, I was in post, so I wasn't trying to do anything. I was like, I need a break. I'm so tired. And then I read the scripts and just thought they were fantastic.
And you said that Danny Boyle is going. So when we interviewed Danny Boyle for the first film, he said, okay, the way it's working is we've done the first two and the third will happen depending on how the first two went. Yeah. But it sounds to me like the third one is happening when you said...
Oh, yeah. I mean, if I ran a studio, I will say I don't have any official news, but I don't know. I just think these two movies are great. I like the one I made. I love a lot, and I just can't see them not doing a third. Like, especially where my film ends, you're really gonna want to see some of these people again in the third film.
Okay, before we go any further, let's just play a little bit from the trailer so we get a flavor.
Trying to predict the future is a discouraging and hazardous occupation. In fact, it may not even exist at all.
Oh, what is this I cannot see? Oh, I am deaf, none can accept.
Many of the things we take for granted will one day pass away completely.
I open the door of heaven and hell.
When that time comes, men will no longer communicate.
Wow.
Happy
I think
Christmas.
that's worth a round of applause, definitely. Man, let's just let that run. We just want to watch that film now.
I know, honestly, I love the trailer a lot, and the Sony marketing team is amazing, because usually with trailers, I'm like giving extensive like notes and things, but I was just like, I love it. Just put it up, put it on the internet, like, yeah.
So introduce us to where we are. So with this particular story and where you take it, tease us even more than the trailer.
So the first film, if you've seen it, ends with our main character Spike meeting this group of who we call the Jimmies. They're basically a cult surrounding this one man, Jimmy Crystal, Sir Lord Jimmy Crystal. And my film picks up pretty soon after they've all met, and we realize that the Jimmies are not so great, and maybe Spike is in a bit of a situation now that he's inside of this group. And while that's happening and Spike's trying to figure out how to get away from them, we have Kelson discovering that his pal Samson might have some more going on than meets the eye.
Can I say that when you say in this film we discover that the Jimmies aren't so great, believe me, in the last 5 minutes of the film when there was a bunch of people dressed as Jimmy Savile, we didn't think any of them were going to turn out to be great.
It presented the last 5 minutes of that film. I've never had this issue before, because obviously we never talk about the endings of movies, but the tonal change that happened in the last few minutes of the last film was so extraordinary that I think I was the first person to see it in our team, and I needed to talk about it with someone, because I said, you will not believe what just happened. So can you just, because it's a very British film really, I think, and the Jimmy Savile stuff is particularly British, but can you just explain why the Jimmies are there, given that Jimmy Savile is famously one of the worst sex offenders this country's ever had. His victims are still with us, still traumatized by what he did. Does that make good art? You know, why have the Jimmies become acceptable in your film?
Well, you'll see they're certainly not acceptable. They're very, basically I think Alex was like, this character, Jimmy Crystal, is evil.
This is Alex Garland, who wrote
Yeah, Alex
the script,
Garland, yes. This character, Jimmy Crystal, is evil. He's just, I can't curse on this, can I? But he's just very evil. And when thinking about, like, not just what are they going to look like, what are we projecting, it was thinking about when the world as they knew it, that we knew it, ended.
Yep.
And so that was, I think, pre-9/11, actually. So in 2000, like summer 2001. And at that time, and you know, it's all pre-Me Too, like all these reckonings that have happened. And Jimmy Crystal as a character, basically, you know, in the beginning of the first film, you see he's, I think, 8 or 10 when, I think he's 8, when his world kind of falls apart and he starts to come up with these weird ideas about what the infected are, and you know, he's watching Teletubbies, and we do a lot, poor Teletubbies trademark, because they're like, what have you done? All these, we wanted to use this imagery of all of these, at the time, joyful, childlike things, and pervert them, and some of those images, like Jimmy will fix it or whatever, have been perverted by the legacy of those people. So it was an intentional choice in terms of pop culture and pastiche, but it's not like he's not in, like, we don't reference him.
It's worth saying, because I saw the film, and afterwards the film company got in touch and they said, can you just tell us briefly what your response was? And I just sent them back an email which said, blimey, which is a good blimey. Yes. But the tone of your film is very different to the little bit at the end of the first film.
Very different,
it's completely different. And when I was watching it, because obviously what happens is the kid gets, I don't want to give stuff away because it's not out till January, but basically is inducted into the Jimmies, all of whom you know, wear the wig, and it's a brutal induction. And it reminded me of things like Kubrick's Clockwork Orange, particularly in the way that they're dressing, using sort of elements of pop culture that they're not sort of fully understanding. There's also, as I think you saw from the trailer, there's a sort of an ironic evocation of Apocalypse Now and, you know, Kurtz and all that sort of darkness. But the thing that I was really impressed by was the film really goes for it. I mean, when it needs to be brutal, it's brutal, and it's like something playing out in the relics of pop culture. It's like culture just stopped, and these are the shattered bits that were left behind. A bit of Savile, a bit of Teletubbies, and a lot of Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, no, 100%. You know, we had a Tamagotchi in there for a bit. Yeah. Jelly Sandals was another big one. But we really wanted to take, especially because Kelson, like, we get into his pop culture life, which is a lot of Duran Duran. He's like loves music. That's kind of how he stays connected. And then there's a speech in the film where he talks about, like, what he remembers from before, and you just see how everyone's conception of their lives after the end of culture essentially is just modeled and, like, distorted through time, which I found interesting.
Okay, so there is a very significant use of a heavy metal in one of the film's most outlandish scenes, and without saying what it is, it looks like you were all having a lot of very dark fun with that. It
was so fun. It was that scene is one of my favorites. I just love it so much. We had such a great time, like, developing it and shooting it, and it was cold, it was night. It was great.
This is Rafe Fiennes as you've never seen him before.
Truly never, and so much of him you see in this film.
You said that this is one of the most. The quote is one of the best filmmaking experiences you've ever had. Can you explain why?
Because I got to do what I wanted. Because I felt like I had such a clear. One, it's just great when you get a script that's just ready to go. That's just amazing. And Alex and Danny are filmmakers who I've admired since I was literally 12 years old. And their work has been a huge influence on me. And the way they work, like the fact that Danny does so many different kinds of films, has really influenced me and how I see the possibility of having a career. But the actual making of the film with people you admire, but who let you be you and do your thing and who respect you as a filmmaker, like that was really great. And my cast was amazing. My crew, some of them I've done 3-4 movies with. So yeah, it was like the ideal of like why I do this, why I love filmmaking, and how I want to model my future shoots.
Because the implication from your answer then is that on the other films, which you've had fantastic success, you were not allowed to do what you wanted to do.
Not always, and also I think, as you know, I made a very small independent film for my first feature, went into the studio system, went into the biggest studio system, and then went and made my own film, Hedda. And I think through that experience, it was like, okay, these are the different processes, these are how different studios work, what works for you? And I really figured out what worked for me. And I got to apply that on Hedda and on 28.
Can I just clarify from this timeline?
Uh-huh.
How old were you when you saw 28 Days Later?
Ooh, okay, so if that came out in 2001, no, it came out in 2002, I was 12.
You were 12?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess looking back, I'm like, wow, yeah, that was, at the time it had an 18 rating here. Now it's a 15, because we've all, we're
yeah,
like,
but you were 12.
I was 12, yeah.
Which is neither 15 nor 18.
No. I really loved scary stuff when I was younger. Like, I loved scaring myself and being scared, and my grandma's a Jehovah's Witness, and I'm very much not religious at all, actually. And she'd come home, so I'd have to hide from her because I couldn't even watch like Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe without her being like, "This is demonic." So I don't know if I was being rebellious or what, but I would literally like turn off all the lights and watch like scary things and try not to get caught by my grandma.
Well, you know that Julia Ducournau, who made Titan, said that one of her formative experiences was her parents left her in a room with a television that happened to have cable. At the age of 5, she watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It's a good age for that, yeah.
And she became a brilliant filmmaker as a result of it. Clearly
apart from the bit where someone has sex with a car, apart from that bit.
It's always bothered you, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's a standout moment. I was just thinking. Jonathan Glazer he came on the show, obviously to talk about his astonishing movie, but where does he fit into this story?
Oh, right, so we have some mutual friends, and one night, so that's just a personal thing, but as a person, like, he's another filmmaker who I'm like, if I could make one film as good as any of his films, I can die happy, because I think he's a genius. But I met him at a dinner, and it was when I was trying to decide whether or not I should do 28 Years Later, Part 2 of The Bone Temple, and I was like, Jonathan's gonna tell me not to do it. Because I kind of wanted people to tell me, don't do it, you don't have the time, you need to rest, blah, blah, blah. And I said, hey, like, what do you think? Like, do you think I should do this movie? Like, it's another franchise thing, I've done that, blah, blah, blah. And I was giving all these reasons, and he just went, well, do you like the script? And I was like, oh, damn it, Jonathan. You're supposed to be like indie guy and say, no, don't do it. But that was the only thing that mattered. And he was right.
Well, everyone here Mark has seen it, everyone else is desperate to see it. Thank you very much, Dee, for coming down. Just before we finish, can you, and without spoilers, can you set up a moment in the film so that when we do go and see your movie, we'll go, oh yeah, Nia told us about this bit. Is there something that you can just highlight that we should be looking out for?
I'm in the movie. I'm also in the trailer, which is hilarious. But only my friends have noticed. They're like, why are you in all the trailers? I'm like, I didn't do that. And also, when I shot it, it was supposed to be like a plate in the background of the train, but my editor was like, this will be the shot now. And I was like, okay. So that I can set up. Sorry. I can also set up, okay, sorry, I'll be serious.
No, but hang on, before you be serious, where in the train are you?
I'm sitting on the left side of frame.
Wow.
But my hair's red.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, I went through like 3 hair colors.
But
on this
apart
movie.
from the bit with you in it.
Yeah.
That's all I really want to talk about. No, I'm kidding. Kidding. Okay, I think I think like the core of this film is Kelson and Samson, like the emotional heart of the film. Spike's really important throughout, but the emotional core of the film are those two characters. It's really fascinating, and then when I was reading the script and also hopefully in the film, there are a couple of moments with those characters where your jaw literally drops and everything kind of gets turned on its head, and so when your jaw drops, let me know.
Okay. Nia DaCosta, thank you very much
Thank
indeed
you
for
guys
joining
so
us.
much.
Nia DaCosta,
Thank you.
go see a film.
I love the film.
Nia DaCosta. That was great. That was fantastic.
I know. I can't wait for you to see the film because it's, like I said, it is genuinely blimey. And the good thing about it is that because the end of the first... Have most of you now seen the first 28 years later? Okay. But that final 5 minutes is completely bewildering, isn't it? You just think, what on earth can this be the setup for? And tonally, it's very different.
Are there any Formula One fans in? Do you want to know who won the championship? You do or you don't?
Okay, here's what he's going to do. If you don't want to hear, put your fingers in your ears and go la, 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 la. Simon, who won the whatever thing was that you just said?
Lando Norris. We're going to take a short break. There are refreshments available. Mark can go to the loo now. That's okay. Well, you just ahead of time, a little bit of warning. So we'll see you in 20 minutes. See you in 20 minutes' time. Thank you.
You're right. Yeah.
So a couple of hellos here. Dear Grinch and Scrooge, this is from Jessica. I'm a lucky person with a ticket to your Christmas movie spectacular.
Well, that remains to be seen.
Although I'm not in the grand circle, I shall be attending on my own. Would it be possible to have a shout out from the stage for all single Vanguardistas? I'm sure there will be more than 2. Okay, so this is, while the lights are down, shout oi if you're a single Vanguardista. Okay, that's a lot.
Right, should we put the lights up and then ask them to stand?
Jessica says,
right. If you're a single Vanguardista and you're on the market...
Okay, that's very nice. Lovely to see you all. Thank you very much for coming. You can sit down now. If you want to meet up afterwards, it's nothing to do with us. If it doesn't go well, Mark's address is 21 Acacia Lane, Nirvana. And
Nirvana?
Yeah, that's where you live.
Were you aiming for Narnia, but you hit an American rock group by mistake?
No, I think Nirvana is far closer to where you live. And Jessica says, thanks for keeping a light shining in these dark times. Many thanks to the fabulous production, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Okay. But Jessica, thank you very much indeed for the email. Katie says, this year we are taking our kids back to various countries I lived in as a child, Italy and Germany, as well as some of the ones later on, France and the UK. I was delighted when I realized that your Christmas show takes place about 7 hours after we fly in for our big trip. Sadly, logistics mean that we won't be able to both make it, so as the original member of the church, I have precedence, and my darling husband will take our tired and jet-lagged kids to the National History Museum. Oh, dear heavens. Whilst I enjoy the show, but please, a big shout-out to Rob for enabling me to make it. Yeah, right, you won't see him again. Even if circumstances complicated, even the fact that he is willing to take the hit means so much to me and is just so emblematic of the man he is. So excited to see you on Sunday. Are you here, Katie? Yeah. Okay, are you having a good time? How's Rob doing? Okay, you think you just haven't checked. Okay, that's fine. Finally, in this correspondence, this is from Georgianne, BA Psychology, US Dressage Federation bronze and silver medalist, Yoga Alliance certified instructor, Vanguardista, etc., and member of the equestrian stable. The good ceramicist, him indoors, and I are using your Christmas spectacular as a great reason to spend a week in London. You'll find us appropriately in stalls D13 and D14.
Thank you for coming. You're more than welcome. Are you enjoying it? Fantastic.
The email continues. We're coming from California, and ChatGPT informs us distance as the crow flies, 5,368 miles, 10 hours and 30 minutes of flying. So 10,000 miles, 21 hours road trip. Can anyone beat that? Has anyone traveled more than California here? Birmingham, okay. It can feel like that. It can. Hello to Sanjeev and Jason. Anyway, thank you. And then Georgianne signs off, uncontroversially, tinkety-tonk, down with mango fascists and assorted collaborators. Thank you for being here when we need you the most. So Georgianne, thank you. You're the one living through it, so we appreciate you coming, and we hope you enjoy being in the UK. And she adds, P.S., as far as the I was far too young to see conversation, my grandmother took me along to see If with Malcolm McDowell when I was 12.
Wow.
Traumatized is the word.
Fantastic. You mentioned the stalls, D14. Yes. Do you know why they're called stalls?
In fact, why are they called the stalls?
I know, I read it in the email, and then you jumped over it, and I thought...
I was just saving time, but obviously now we're just going to
Now we're going to go back, because it's actually something that I know. So let's have a novel bit in the programme when Mark says something that he knows and Simon is interested in it. I mean...
Why are they called the stalls?
Okay. Do you want to know why they're called the stalls? I mean, I could... The reason they're called the stalls is that the bit you're in used to be the orchestra pit, which was referred to as the orchestra stalls, as in stalls because they're enclosed in a small space, like the kind of thing that you would put, stable a horse in. So originally, that bit down there were referred to as the cheap seats, as opposed to now the very expensive seats, because they are the orchestra stalls seats. So they refer to the seats nearest the stage at ground level, whilst those of a more lordly disposition...
We got that. There was really good information. Thank you very much, Mark.
I can do my Marlon Brando impression again if you're really keen.
So we have to move on for the Christmas cracker laughter lift, I'm afraid. So, oh yes, we do. Wassail! Tardy, I have to say. Wassail! There you go. So, blessed relief from the redactor's terrible jokes. We've been asking you to send in your own jokes for this feature. So Mark has to be polite and respectful for this top-class comedy, which is on the way. So we're going to... they've been inserted into these crackers, so we take it in turns, okay? So a one-handed pull, if you see what I mean. Okay.
He said that, not me.
Okay, joke number one. Okay, you've got the joke there. This can be tightened in the edit. Mark has it's just that piece of paper there, I think.
That's a hat.
That might be funny.
No, there's another piece in here.
Okay, off you go.
I'm getting there. Do I say who it's from?
Read what's on the piece of paper.
All right, yeah. John Cook. What's black, white, and red all over? Huh? Yeah, no. Newspaper, no. Nun falling out of a belfry and impaling herself on a spike, no. What's black, white, and red all over? Early Russian cinema.
Hey! Very good. The snapper thing is there. You have to grab the snapper as well. There you go. Here we go. Hey! And Mark wins again.
No, you do.
Oh, shall I read out?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, here we go. From Gus Ferguson. Spinal Tap is counted as a Christmas film in Germany. It goes up to Elf.
Hey!
Turn it up to Elf. Hey! You were almost an impression there.
Very good.
Okay. I got a note just before he came on saying, they're a bit cheap.
It's going to make excellent radio, though. From Mark in Nuneaton. What do you call a progressively slimmer Liverpool player? Well, I don't understand this, but Mo Salad?
Yeah, well, Mo Salah is the Liverpool player in question, so it's a play on his name being Salah and Salad.
Okay, I'm glad I got that one.
Okay, well, you sold it really well.
Okay,
Jason
thanks.
Isaacs is going to be with us very shortly. Here we go. Oh, enough. It didn't work.
hasn't even got a banger in it.
Hang on, here we go. It's the tension. I'm not reading that one out. Jack in Battersea, it just says Tottenham Hotspur. Okay. I wonder why that one got included. Yeah. Arsenal did well yesterday, didn't they? Last minute. Any Villa fans in tonight? One down there. Okay. Mark didn't understand anything that went on just there. Here we go. These are the worst.
This is just super rubbish. Okay, Susan Thursby. What? Actually, sorry. What do you get if you cross Batman with a Christmas tree?
I don't know. What do you get if you cross Batman with a Christmas tree?
Bruce Wayne.
Okay. I have taken the opportunity of
preempting,
pre-banging the cracker. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't. Sorry. Malik and Cows. That's the person it's from, and where yeah. What do you get when you toss a hand grenade into a French flooring showroom?
A French what showroom?
A French flooring showroom.
Flooring?
That's what it says.
Okay, I don't know. What do you get when you toss a hand grenade into a French flooring showroom?
Linoleum blown apart. That works. Okay, so we're going out of sequence here because I think we've got a satellite link up. Who knows what this is going to be like? Apparently we just lost it. So when he does turn up, we all have to say, hello, Jeremy Irons. Okay? Whether he'll hear this, is he in Las Vegas?
No, he's in Ohio.
Okay.
You kept saying he was in New Orleans, but then somebody said, does anyone know where Jason is? He's where? Ohio, Columbus. I have it on good authority.
Okay, what, because someone shouted it?
Yeah.
I'm reliably assured that Jason Isaacs is with us somewhere via satellite. There he is!
Hey!
Okay.
Hey, Jeremy Irons, how you doing?
I'm good. You're in the green room of a convention, and over there is Jodie Whittaker, who is too scared to say hello to me because she says she always fumbles, but loves Mark. I said, what about Simon? She said, obviously I love Simon too, but it was thrown in, to be honest. And she's trying to hide from you. There's Jodie Whittaker saying hi. Big crowd saying hi to you. Sorry. And then, it being the green room, it's a strange eclectic room. There's the cast of Rocky Horror Show here. There's some Marvel actors. There's a bunch of strange people. But if you like, I'll take you out on the convention floor and you can see what a strange event it is.
Yes. What is the event?
It's a fan convention, GalaxyCon. And as well as there being gaming and cosplay and all the rest of it, there is this strange kind of cattle market I'm about to show you, which will slightly blow your mind, where actors line up to parcel out our notoriety in increments of euros or dollars in this case. So these are all crowds waiting to see these actors in Rosario Dawson. There's my crowd. Hello. There's a bunch of people there. Let's have a look at the costume. Hello. Morning. There you go. These people are all waiting. And there's someone with feathers. I'll try and find some good costumes for them. How are you?
Yeah. Are they all that queue? They're all queuing up to see you, and you're just walking off.
Yes, I know. They'll be very pissed off. They've been standing there for an hour or so already, I think. Oh, there's some Scooby-Doo people. There you go. I'm looking for more outlandish things.
Where are you?
How's Christmas going there? I'm in Columbus, Ohio.
There you go.
It's cold and very square. There you go. There's a small orange person. I don't know what they're dressed as. There we go. That's a family. It's anyway, gentlemen. Okay, so you've probably had enough of that. I'm waiting to see someone scantily clad. There's often people, this is an environment in which people are often wearing barely anything, and you have to pretend that you don't notice because it's a costume. Actually, they're naked, and I do notice.
What? Why would they be doing that?
Because I generally go, what are you dressed as? They'll often say it's an anime in some words, I don't know. Or they'll say, I'm not dressed as anything, which is incredibly embarrassing.
Jason, who are you dressed as?
I'm dressed as a middle-aged man who's tucked who can tuck himself in nowadays. There's less of us now, aren't there, Mark, you and I? Even from here, I can see there's less of you. You look very good, both of you. I want to know this. Am I the longest-term listener? Because well, first of all, obviously, I was listening to you when we were 12, Mark, but
yeah.
Am I the longest-term listener on the podcast? Is there anybody longer than me in the audience, for instance? This is the bit where they sell things, and make things.
How many years have you been listening?
Seems like 100. I don't know. I noticed, I was thinking about the two of you this morning, and I don't know if the audience agrees with me. I don't know if you remember, a few years ago I railed against the fact that you, Simon, were no longer grouchy with Mark. Like when he was slightly more, kind of championing slightly more esoteric or one might say pretentious films, you would give him a hard time and say, that's not what a layperson wants to watch film of the week. And slowly, you're turning into each other and you rarely disagree anymore.
No, I've just given up trying to correct him, Jason.
Yes, is it that? Or has he worked his magic on you? And do you now like 3-hour-long Polish documentaries with no words?
Not especially, no.
He is a lot more amenable to a wider buffet of cinema, Jason, and I think that is due to...
Within limits.
Simply grinding him down over the years.
I was going to say, you've just worked him down. Has he seen Jeremy yet?
No, he hasn't seen Jeremy.
I'm never going to see Jeremy.
He hasn't. Here's the other terrifying thing I found out about Simon Mayo just a couple of hours ago. He has never seen The Shining.
That's true.
No, I'm not a big fan of The Shining.
No, but you've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. I just don't... It doesn't hold together, and I understand why Stephen King didn't like it and didn't want his films adapted afterwards, because it's a bit like Stanley Kubrick fell in love with some sequences, some storyboards, and the Steadicam, and didn't really care that the story made sense. And the images are so good that you're distracted from the fact that it doesn't really have a plot.
Yes, no, I completely agree with you. That's not the point. The point is he hasn't seen The Shining.
Yeah, okay, that point's been made.
Well, I have two reactions to that. One, that's a shame. And two, I said it so you disagree with me. I'm trying to start an argument, for Christ's sake.
No, I think The Shining is very, very flawed, and in fact, we were just talking about why it is that Stephen King isn't crazy about it. I agree. It is a film with great sequences. Oh, look.
What's that?
Teletubbies.
Now, they at some of these conventions, you do... Oh, there's another man. There's a gentleman dressed in an unusual top. It's a fabulous costume. They have this furry thing. You know what furries are?
Yes.
Yes. But apparently that happens. There is a convention, I won't say which one because I go there sometimes, which is 5 days long, and there's a big atrium where all the hotels meet, and numbers of the people who go to the convention don't book a hotel room, they just stay up all night every night, and although it's a very family fun, beauty-friendly thing, apparently it's bacchanalian orgies all night long in costumes, and by day 3, they get quite gamey. And I take a lot of photographs of people with my arm around people. There's a lot of selfies. And it's all I can do to not throw up a lot of the time.
Jason, since we spoke this time last year...
Cheech and Chong are there. No, Cheech and Chong. Love Cheech and Chong. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned The Salt Path, I think, which you'd just been filming, I think.
Yes.
And that was around, wasn't it?
Thank God there's no controversy surrounding that.
I enjoyed the film very much.
Yeah, me too.
And then on television we had Jason and Little Jason appearing.
Yeah, that thing. Actually, I tell you what was strange about that White Lotus is that I did publicity for a year. We all did. I did nothing but. That's my cue there. Hello, kids. Hello, everybody. Say hello. You're live on a podcast in London. Hello. There you go. My peeps. I'll be back in a minute. Sorry. Yes, and so I did publicity for a year, which was nice. It's a great show, and I'm thrilled to be associated with it because he's such a fantastic writer, he's such a great director. But it's not my day job. And when that ended, I've been knocking off films as fast as I could. And I've just done 3 in a row, and I can't wait to... I'm doing a vampire film in January. I've always wanted to be a vampire. And it's nice to get back to work, to be honest with you. I'm sick of being myself. I'm the sound of my own voice.
Are you playing a vampire in the vampire film, or a vampire hunter?
Well, maybe I shouldn't spoil it. I am playing a vampire oh, God. I'm going to get fired before I start filming.
Excellent.
I don't know about Benoit, but I've just done 3 really interesting films back to back. I actually worked with 2 people I've heard you talk about, or one, Chase Infinity.
Oh, yeah. Who's fantastic.
Film star name, that is. Who's also fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
By God, if that's your name, you're not going to become a chartered surveyor, are you? Her and Chris Brindley, who was in The Summer I Turned Pretty, who I didn't know, but my kids did know. And the 2 of them together is this kind of white heat of hormonal magnetic attraction. Just shocking. But I did a film in Texas with Diego Luna and Taylor Kitsch, who I don't know, I'm name dropping now. I just had a fabulous time done films back to back and remembered why I love my job and how telling stories is more interesting than talking about yourself.
You're getting the very definition of a ripple of applause here for that.
Yes.
I love a mild ripple.
Can you send our very best wishes to Jodie, even though she was only wanting to talk to Mark?
That's it. She honestly was terrified. She went, no, I'll just fumble and talk nonsense. You know what's weird about first Billy Piper? It's one of the great things about this is you have no idea who you're going to bump into. So Mike Tyson was in the room once in this green room. I ended up talking to Buzz Aldrin, and then members of. I was talking to some guy once, and he was talking about, I like you in a Patriot or something. I said, I'm so sorry, I don't know what you're from, what you do. Obviously you're famous. I can see you're famous. And then he goes, seriously? He goes, you don't know who I am? So no, I said, okay. I said, well, who are you? He goes, he looked all over his shoulder and went, ESB. And I go, ESB? What, the Alan Sugar made the dishes for? Like Sky Broadcasting. I went, really? He goes, but Sky? He goes, no, Backstreet Boys. I said, oh, right, you're in a boy band. And he went, is that a boy band, man? We're a group, man. We won like 12 Grammys, okay? We sold 20 million records. And I went, I'm sorry, I don't know this. What was your biggest hit? He goes, I can't sing it for you here. And I went, cool, just whisper it. He went, Backstreet Boys. And I went, oh, yeah, no, I know that. That's great. And he was sitting with his friend, and I said, you in Israel? He goes, me? Is that in Backstreet Boys? Are you me? And I said, I'm sorry, honestly, I just watched tennis and card tricks on YouTube. I'm so sorry. You must be someone. Obviously, I see all the crowds. And he said, I was in sync. So I got on his, you were in a sink. He said, no, I was in sync. I'm like, just someone stole all the vowels from this sentence. And I said, what? He said, in sync. And I went, oh, no, okay, no, in sync, that is a boy band. He goes, we're not a boy band, man. We sold 40 million records. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, the point being, you've no idea who's going to be in the room when you get there.
No. All right. Jason, when do you fly back? When do you get back here?
December the 16th, I go straight to a series of charity carol concerts and Great Ormond Street parties. It's Christmas time for actors, and thank God we get asked to sprinkle our fame in ways that are slightly more productive than selling it off there. So December 16th, and it's back-to-back charity carol concerts. If you see me anywhere, come and give some money.
All right. Jason Isaacs, thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to everybody there. It's lovely to see you.
Thanks, Jason. Really appreciate it.
Bye. See you soon.
I don't think we've ever done an interview in which we have said less.
Yeah, where the guest has sworn more. There'll be a lot of birdsong. So the birdsong in there was entertaining, I think. But there's some fantastic stories. And the thing is, he's wonderfully indiscreet.
Wonderfully indiscreet.
As I think you finally realise. But anyway, I hope he doesn't get dropped from that Dracula film, from the vampire film. That would be most disappointing. Anyway.
So Lurker, which is a film from writer-director Alex Russell, who was previously best known for writing The Bear, which you love, and I love as well, and Beef. This is debut as writer-director. So the story is a twist on the kind of familiar interloper story. Essentially, the story of someone who wants someone's life and then inveigles themselves into it and then starts to steal it. Should we have a look at a trailer?
Yes.
There we go.
So when did he find you at meet and greet or something?
No. He came into the store I work at. You make music?
Yeah, sometimes, bro. You should come to the show tonight.
Is this how you envisioned it?
This is the crib.
You should try to make yourself useful.
You
If you want to stick around.
got camera. You know how to press record.
What the? You're like my hero, man. You're always on Oliver's Instagram. Ollie, say hi.
Calling this man Ollie already? You sound like one of his bitches.
So basically, the two main characters, it's Theodore Pellerin is Matthew, and Archie Madekwe, who was in Saltburn and Midsommar, is Ollie, this kind of star. And what happens is the star goes into this shop where he meets Matthew, who lives with his grandmother and doesn't really appear to have much social life and is a super fan. But he pretends not to be a fan. Oh, are you a musician? I didn't know. Here's some of the music that I like. Anyway, he inveigles himself into his friendship. He inveigles himself into the backstage. And the next thing is he's being invited in. Oh, this is my new best friend. This is Matty. He's so great. He takes videos, blah, blah, blah. And Ollie is surrounded by this kind of entourage of hangers-on, all of whom have got a kind of hierarchy in the court of his stardom. And Matty sort of tries to work his way up through it, but every time he does, he's sort of, because every position that he could take, he's usurping, but he gradually inveigles his way into the life of this rock star. And then at some point, as always happens in these stories, there comes a point when he's either going to be cast out or he has to do something to prevent that happening. Now, the sort of uber text for all of this is The Talented Mr. Ripley, which is the Patricia Highsmith story, which was filmed by Anthony Minghella, obviously filmed before that as Plain Soleil, and then more recently was on Netflix as Ripley, which was really, really good, with Andrew Scott.
Andrew Scott, who we saw in the clip.
Who's in Wake Up Dead Man. And the thing with these stories is they work best when things are on the cusp of awkwardness, when the person who, I mean, the very fact that the film is called Lurker, which is not quite a stalker. A lurker is somebody who's just on the periphery, somebody who's not quite in, not quite out, but isn't going away. And I think the thing that makes this film really good, quite apart from the fact that it's got two very good performances, because you do believe both of them, is that it understands that at the heart of any of these stories is that there's a kind of two sides of the same coin thing going on. On the one hand, there's Matty, who sort of sees this thing that he wants and is willing to kind of do anything to inveigle his way into that world. And of course, in the case of The Talented Mr. Ripley, we all know how that ends. And in the case of this, it's more understated. But the key thing is that Ollie, who's this pop star who's kind of holding court, treats him, sort of bullies him and pushes him around and behaves really badly. And so it's not like there's a sympathetic character who gets his life stolen from him. It's like there are two unsympathetic characters, both of whom on the one hand are narcissistic and desperately self-serving, and on the other hand are really, really deeply insecure. And I think the thing the film gets right is it's that sense of insecurity and paranoia that it does really well. And having seen quite, I mean, you know, if you think about things like Single White Female got brought up in relation to this. You know, it's a story in which Bridget Fonda has an apartment. It's rented by Jennifer Jason Leigh. Jennifer Jason Leigh moves in, starts copying her clothes, starts copying her hairstyles, and the next thing is she's sort of stealing her life. In the case of this, it's all very believably done. On the one hand, you do believe that he could actually be a pop star, but you also believe that this strange guy who's pretending not to be a fan but clearly is a devoted fan has inveigled himself into the inner circle by being kind of wide-eyed and apparently innocent. And also, the film never makes any leaps that you think, okay, that's it. That's the point at which I don't buy the story anymore. That's the point that it turns into a murder mystery or whatever it is. It's just everything is at that level of awkward threat. And I thought it was really well done. I knew nothing about it beforehand other than the title. I thought from the poster, which you can see there, that it might be a horror movie because that's kind of got like a psycho thing going on there. But I thought it was very affecting, very well done, and certainly at the top end of those kind of interloper stories. As I said, we have seen many of them before, and The Highsmith is the high point. But this is a very worthy contender.
Now, there is one more film that we want to talk about.
Yes.
Which is called Goodbye June, which I still, for people of a certain generation, I still think it should be called Goodbye to Jane, spelt in the Slade way, of course. Now, this is because this is the new movie by Kate Winslet.
Yeah, so this is Kate Winslet making a directorial debut. As we've said, we've done an hour-long interview with Kate Winslet that's going out on our show, which drops on the 23rd. It's based on a feature debut script by Joe Anders, who is Kate Winslet's son, who wrote the script inspired by his own loss of his grandmother. And then Kate Winslet was giving him some advice on, how to submit it, and read the script and sort of fell in love with it and ended up directing it. So that basically, it's the story of 4 siblings: Kate Winslet, Andrea Riseborough, Toni Colette, and Johnny Flynn. The mother, June, is played by Helen Mirren, and she is taken ill in the run-up to Christmas. The family gather in the hospital room from which it appears to be clear that she may not leave. Meanwhile, Toni Collette's character, who's living abroad, is sort of parachuted in. And the family are riven with divisions and old rivalries, particularly between the sisters, who are played by Kate Winslet, by Andrea Riseborough, which gives great sort of, causes great pain to June, who wants nothing more for them to reconcile. Meanwhile, Timothy Spall, who's the dad, who is June's husband, appears to be either just completely withdrawn from the situation, or I think more accurately, so traumatized by what is going on that he simply can't deal with it and just becomes obsessed with trivia. Here's a clip.
I've never found a better culinary pairing than Guinness and pork scratchings, Con. I never. Yeah.
Dad, shut up. I can't hear what Helen's saying.
What?
Go.
Okay.
Go on, Helen.
No. If Mum can't go home, she'll have to stay at mine, and that's that.
Do you mean to your house, Molly?
Of course. Who else is?
To stay with her.
Yes, to stay with me, and then Connor and you and Dad, Helen, can stay with Julia.
Yeah, great. Whatever. Yeah.
Absolutely fine. That's a very good idea. Plenty of room.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how did this even happen?
Dad forgot to turn the taps off.
No, I never did. No, if I did.
It is unbelievable. Mercury is in retrograde, though. You know that.
Okay, moving on.
Now, before we get to the review of the film, do you want to show a clip from the teaser?
So Mark's mentioned that we've got the Kate Winslet special interview, which is going out on the 23rd. So she comes into the studio, and she is a phenomenally successful, one of our most successful actors. She's making her directorial debut, as Mark has mentioned. We're lining up for a photograph afterwards, but because it's Kate Winslet, she's not happy with the lighting. So there's a shot, I think, which someone took here. So we're all lined up, and then she's thinking, no, we're not having that. You need to move the light around here, and then eventually we end up with a decent-looking picture. So here is a clip from, there'll be a full version of this, obviously, which comes out on the 23rd. Here's just a little bit of Kate in the interview, and the person who she starts off talking about is her son, Joe Anders, as Mark has explained.
He just does have an understanding of film and of characters, and he's always been a very observant person, forever with a notebook in his back pocket, and just fascinated by people and the human condition in a similar way to myself, to be honest. And he worked on it some more. And when I really got him to believe that I wanted to make this into a film, I said, look, I will produce it, and I'd love to play one of the sisters. And after about a year of further development and various different iterations of the script and redrafting certain things and getting very good at listening to notes and constructive criticisms, there was a screenplay that was ready to be sent out to directors, and Netflix had shown some interest in it. And I suddenly realised I couldn't let it go. And I just thought, if I never do this again, if this is the only moment in my life I direct a film, I know I'd regret it if it wasn't this one.
So here's the thing about the movie. So we've both watched it, and obviously the story about, it's called Goodbye, June, so you know that it's about the loss of somebody. And you also know that the writer has based it on the loss of their grandmother. So there's a lot of kind of, personal stuff in there. But the first thing to say about it is, for a film which is about the end of someone's life, it's absolutely full of life. It is, certainly if anyone's ever, and everyone will have done, had the experience of, you know, a loved one in the last stages of life and everyone gathering round, particularly gathering round in this sort of strange environment of a hospital room, you realise that actually people laugh and they do weird things and stuff goes on, and it's not just a simple process of, you know, of sadness. And I think the film captures that brilliantly. And I think one of the reasons it does, and we were asking Kate Winslet about this during the interview, is that what she tried to do was to take all the boom mics and all the paraphernalia out, and whenever possible to use locked off cameras, to have everybody just kind of bug mic'd, so that the atmosphere on the set was very conducive to the actors behaving naturally. Now, obviously, she has an extraordinary acting career, so it's not like she doesn't know what actors need. The other thing is, she's been at film school since she was in Heavenly Creatures, because she's worked with Peter Jackson and James Cameron. You know, this is extraordinary array of people. So she's seen how people direct movies and how direction works. I do, however, think, you see, it might be tempting to go, okay, well, that amazingly stellar cast, well, of course they're good, because they're incredible actors. I mean, Tim Spall is one of the greatest actors of our generation, and I think he's terrific in the film of Helen Mirren, you know, who's a titan. And okay, fine, those are great actors. Of course they're going to do great work, and of course they're going to want to sign on to a project directed by Kate Winslet. But I think it's deeper than that. I think they wouldn't sign on if the script hadn't been as good as it is. And I genuinely think that the script does something quite remarkable, which is that it manages to talk about death in a way that is not morbid. It manages to talk about loss in a way that is, you know, it's not saccharine sweet, it does manage to avoid sentimentality and schmaltz, which would be very, very easy to fall into. But it does do that thing, which is that we're all going to be in this position at some point. And when we are, since it is a universal truth, wouldn't it be quite good to have a drama about it which had all those different registers? The other thing I think that's really important is, I think it is a really well-directed film. I mean, yes, good script, of course. Yes, good performances, of course. But I think it's really well directed. But I think it's directed in a way that is very unshowy. And quite often when people credit directors, it tends to be because the director has done something that's kind of visually remarkable or whatever. It's much harder to appreciate good direction when you don't notice it. And one of the things with the film is it has a number of young performers in it who are, I think, like really natural, really behave not like they're pretending, but they are just being. And of course, you know, Kate Winslet has said that's the key to directing kids, is that they're not acting. You just get them to a place where they can be. And obviously I've been a huge fan of Kate Winslet as an actor, and I have met her a few times, and she's always been incredibly nice, you know, like really sort of genuinely interested and nice. But watching the film, I did think, blimey, this is a really well-directed movie. And as a first, you know, directorial first feature, I know, as I said, it's been at film school for decades making the films that she has. But this is a really well-helmed movie. The cast are terrific, and I had done an onstage with them briefly, and I talked to Tim Spall. I'm always starstruck by Tim Spall. And Tim Spall said on more than one occasion, this is one of the best experiences I've ever had making a movie. He said, usually when I make a movie, you know, it's kind of stressy and I get grumpy. And he said, but this was actually one of the happiest experiences because everybody felt like they were just doing their best work because they were enabled to do it. And I said, why? And he said, because she's in charge and she gave everyone the space to do what they were doing. And I think on the strength of this, she's the cat's mother, right? Kate Winslet sorry, that's an old expression. You shouldn't say she when you're referring to me. I think Kate Winslet has a very impressive career ahead of her behind the camera, because I think it's a terrific script. It's a great cast. It's an important subject. It's dealt with humor and laughter, you know, amidst the sort of the sadness. None of it is overly sentimental, and I think it'll become a Christmas staple, weirdly enough, because there is that thing around Christmas where all these things come together. And people always say that, at Christmas, apparently everyone watches The Holiday. Kate Winslet said that, yeah, she gets people come up to her and say, mothers and daughters watch it together. Well, I can understand that. I'm not a fan of The Holiday, but I think this itself might become a Christmas staple because like It's a Wonderful Life. It has light and dark in there. And
we did talk a bit about the holiday, and you can hear more about that when the interview drops the 23rd. It's worth saying, as it comes out on the 24th, that a lot of you might be in exactly the right place to watch this. You might not be.
Yeah.
It's a tough watch, particularly at Christmas. So it does explain what happens in the title. You are saying goodbye to someone.
Yes.
So it might be that on the 23rd and the 24th, you might not be thinking that, maybe leave it to the 27th and then watch it. But when you do get round to watching it, it's a very rewarding film for everybody.
Yeah, and
Johnny Flynn is great as well.
Oh, Johnny Flynn's fantastic. I think Johnny Flynn walks on water, frankly, but he's fantastic in everything, and he's really nice.
All of those things.
All of those things.
So look out for the Kate Winslet interview, because it is really interesting, and it was great because she came in and gave us a longer conversation. As you know, you have been voting for the greatest Christmas scene. The two finalists were John McClane crawling through the air duct and George Bailey shouting Merry Christmas through Bedford Falls in It's a Wonderful Life. The winner is the greatest Christmas movie scene of all time. With 46% of your votes, Die Hard. Not Try Hard, that's a different movie altogether. Long-term listeners. 54% going for It's a Wonderful Life. Let's watch the greatest Christmas movie scene of all time, according to you.
Yay! Hello, Bedford Falls! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas, George! Merry Christmas, George! Merry Christmas, movie house! Merry Christmas, Emporium! Merry Christmas, you wonderful old building alone! Hey! Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter! Happy New Year to you! In jail. Go on home, they're waiting for you.
Very good. That was a fantastic ending, don't you think? But there is a lot of Shawshank before you get to the redemption, though.
There is.
Not?
And can I just remind everybody, we've mentioned this before, that the It's a Wonderful Life was investigated by the House Un-American Activities Committee during the McCarthy witch hunts. And they concluded that the film was dangerous because it was pro-communist and anti-bankers.
We've moved on and learned. Well, no, some of us have, and some of us haven't. We're at the end of the show. Thank you very much indeed for coming. Would you put your hands together, please, for our top production team, who are backstage. They're too embarrassed to appear, apart from the elf. Thanks to Nia DaCosta and to Jason. Thank you for traveling from Iceland. Thank you for traveling from California. Thank you for traveling from Birmingham. And thank you from wherever you've come. We really, really appreciate you being part of the show, contributing to the show, coming to the Christmas show. And we continue to perform a load of nonsense on a weekly basis.
Yes, and very at the beginning, somebody said, I can't imagine the time when this might come to an end. And I've been trying for many, many, many years to get you to commit to, So let's just end this festive special with you saying, for the first time in your life, 10
Okay, we need to leave it now.
Years.
It's just gone 4 o'clock. Thank you very much indeed for coming. Safe journey home. Wassail! Wassail! Mark Kermode, Simon Mayo, the production team.
Thank you.